I have a format on Instagram, TikTok, Shorts, which is called Midweek Check-In, where I usually tell you about different ideas I have, different advices I heard, just different thoughts that you can take away or you don't have to, right? And with the YouTube videos or the content in general, I always think like, okay, which video would I like to have had in the past, or today, what would I like to hear today? What would have known earlier, or all of these kind of things go into that. But mainly and mostly, what do I think could be useful to somebody in certain situations? And I just thought today, that's the reason why I have my little smart, everything is in there notebook here. Today we just go into best advices of my life. I've written down on top of my head, taking a few minutes to think about them. Advices I either live by, they come up often and help me in situations, or have helped me unlock a big part of understanding or understanding myself, working with myself, or making my life just a little bit easier. And am I qualified to tell you how to live? No. Am I a psychologist? No. Have I studied something in that field? No. Am I here today to tell you how to live? Not at all. You can live however you like. I just thought that if somebody's out there who's just one of these advices that helps, I will have this video out there, and then it shall find you on this day when you need it. And maybe you take something away, which could be an advice in itself. Always decide for yourself what you take away from something. It's your choice. You do not have to, this person said this, now I have to do this to be like him, And while I'm saying that, there's one more advice that came to my mind that I will just put down here. But let's start with the first ones, which are not necessarily the most important one. There's no ranking here. But this is how they came to mind. And I think the most recent one, and the one I'm going to start with, the one that changed a lot for me, is goals are not always there to be reached. They help you, motivate you for the way. And that's like a big change for me, because I always felt like if I don't reach a goal, I'm a loser. Right? I lost something. I wasn't good enough. I didn't reach the goal. But my therapist, so a lot of these also come from me working on myself with professionals. It's not only me saying, oh, I know a thing and I'm a guru. No, there's, stuff I've learned from my last 28 years of life. Probably haven't learned it at age 1, but you know what I mean. Trying to be reflective and thinking about myself a lot and striving forward to better myself. But my therapist told me that, and that changed the way I think about myself drastically. Because, for example, the example we had there was like when you study something, for example, and you have somebody has a goal, wants to, after they study, they want to go to this job and do this and this work, and the other one is just here be like, I don't know how it goes. Not saying anything is wrong with that, just saying, demonstrating that the one who has a goal in mind probably, technically, might write better exams, finishing it faster, maybe being more motivated along the way. And even though if the other person never reaches the goal of working in a said company, he probably, did the studies more motivated. For me, that changed a lot, because I was like, if I don't reach my goals, I'm always a failure. I don't think that's true. Setting your goals to motivate you along the way, big step for me. Next one for me is, who has the blame has the power to change it. And this is, more in you owning the blame kind of cosmos and not in the whole world globally. But I've noticed that it's easy to sometimes be like, oh, I cannot have this because this person doesn't give me a job. I cannot have this because this company would never hire me. I cannot have a partner because online dating sucks. I cannot have, and again here, sometimes you gotta blame things in order to, stay sane and not take everything on yourself too much. And if you are not in a position of power, it might be tough to do that. But I kind of started taking the blame and being like, okay, maybe I'm not getting hired at a company because I don't have the right qualification, or I don't have, my resume is not well written enough. Maybe I have to go over that again. Maybe I have to learn something. Maybe I have to do another job to get into this. But you do not lock yourself out of never being able to get this job. It's just a temporary thing that you can change. And I think this is the big thing for me. If you take the blame, you can change it. As easy as it sounds, I know it's tough, but it's something I practiced in all ways, shapes, or forms, in friendships, taking the blame. For example, if I'm running late, which is another tip here, communication beyond your own ego is better to letting them know than to be cool. And I always had this issue where I thought, okay, for example, if I'm late, I'm like, okay, I know I'm late, but it's only 10 minutes. If I don't have to extra write it because I'm there 10 minutes late, and then it's almost like I haven't been late. It's cool to be late a little bit, but I feel like down the road, I feel like who am I to not value the time of the other person? Just because it's embarrassing for me to tell that I made a mistake by being late, for example, just as an example here. And so I started communicating, updating it. I'm like, I'm going to be 10 minutes late, just so you know, as soon as I know it, by the way, that I will be 10 minutes late. So implying that the person can now change their schedule accordingly and not having to wait 10 minutes there for me, I mean, come on. Maybe they want to go and get a croissant, or they want to go and buy something to drink on the store, on the street, maybe. But they're standing there because they think, he's going to come every next minute. So I feel like, this kind of ties in together with taking the blame for, I'm late, and having the power to change it around. Next thing is, only think about the burglar when he's here. This is like a quote my mom gave me years ago, because as a child I was afraid of somebody breaking into our home as a child. And then she taught me that, but it also transcended time when she taught me that the burglar is now becoming problems, future problems, catastrophical thinking, right? What if when I do this study, or if I do this job, I will never have this, and then I will never have this, and if I don't find somebody by this age, I will never have kids, and blah, 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 and you lose yourself in catastrophical future, and it's like, only think about the problem when it's here. And obviously, if you have medical things, I'm not talking about that, get yourself checked out. Routine checks are probably great. I'm not in that age yet where I have routine checks. A dentist maybe, and I go there routinely as well. But it's more like about this catastrophical thinking, and sometimes helps me to remind myself in a situation like this, okay, I only think about the problem that's here. What can I control now? What is the next smallest step I can take to change it? This is the small step thing, just breaking it down to what you can change and not what you cannot change. I think it also helped me for anxiety times, which will be the next part here, is Yes Theory's YouTube channel that asked the Dalai Lama a question about what kind of tip he would give to at this time people our age, so young people in general, who face a lot of anxiety and depression. And he said that if you are self-centered a lot, you have more anxiety. So the antidote of self-centeredness is like altruism. Altruism is like selfless concern for the well-being of others. And he said it like very good, when you always think like me, I have to be this, I have to be that, this is my status, I have to reach that. You know, you can kind of feel how this is anxiety inducing, right? But if you start to feel like, okay, what can I do? Help this person, what can I help here? How can I look outward? How is the world? How does it feel? How you know, your perception goes outward again and you kind of can escape that a bit. I'm not doing this on a daily basis nowadays, but I'm still thinking about this, that it helped me at the bad time a lot, which kind of ties into at the bottom, smile at yourself in the mirror. Because thoughts are like big roads. The more you think it, the bigger it gets. And then you have all of a sudden you have a big road and your brain always automatically takes that road. So it kind of resonated with me because if you have anxiety and you sit on your sofa and you just think, why is so much anxiety? Why do I have so many bad thoughts when I'm just sitting at home? And then I noticed that this road of anxiety got so big in my life that when I was resting, the resting thoughts took the fastest way over that road, these nerves. And so I always had like catastrophe thoughts. And so at the bottom, I just started to smile at myself in the mirror for 2 to 3 times a day, just to build another road again. Smiling, funny, happy. And then currently, you get more to a neutral road again, where you can sit, and I sit here on the couch again thinking nothing, which I would think as a neutral road, or even great things sometimes. Just a little bit of a mix-up, right? Sorry, plant. And so kind of control the thoughts you have, but don't be scared of them. You know, your thoughts are also sometimes like clouds. You know, the sky is always blue, but you cannot always see it when there's clouds, right? So it's like a good balance between inducing happy thoughts into your system and not taking the bad ones too. Don't cling on them too much. Let them go. That's okay too. You know, you are the sky. You're not the clouds on the sky. And I know this here may sound super, I don't know the word for that, but like guru-like is not at all what I'm trying to do. I just share with you things that help me, and hopefully maybe it helps you. If it doesn't, also fine, obviously. One thing that I had as a teenager, I don't do it today as much, but maybe because I trained with that. Count to 5, then do it, or never think about it again. Pretty self-explanatory. There's something I didn't want to do, something I was scared to do, afraid to do, something I was contemplating, should I do it, should I not? I counted to 5 in my head, and then I did it. Or I said, I will never think about it again. Well, does it always work like that? No. Did it help me to get that extra little courage sometimes to do the thing? Yes. Counting to 5 and then doing it. Or leaving the situation, never doing it again. In terms of, I don't know, make that call to a friend you maybe want to apologize for, or you want to talk about something, count to 5, then do it, or do something else. Don't sit there for an hour and like, maybe should I? No, then okay, today I can do it, maybe tomorrow. The courage is not there every day, and I'm not saying that I did all of these things perfectly executed. It's more like, as I said, goals are not there to be reached, they're there to motivate you along the way. Which kind of ties into the mindfulness about what you intake. And I feel like a very important thing in these days is social media or media mindfulness. And it's maybe not an advice in general. I cannot give you a quote that helps you with that. But like when I started, for example, articles, news. When I started to, usually there's a news article and then there's a source. You can go into the source. And then you can go into maybe the next source and you find the bottom source of an article. And so from a message that says, the world is going down, you go into the source and it says, the world might go down if we do this. And the next source says, if we do this for the next 500 years, the world might be in a little bit more danger. You know, not making a state on the world fact, but just showing how media can push something up. And if you go to the source, it's mostly, when it's a scientific source, I feel like scientific sources are never that anxiety and scare-inducing than the final headline, you know. So going for the source is like a good thing that helped me. Also deciding which news I take in, also balancing that with the good news, you know. Media in general, or things in general, have a purpose, right? And I don't think that, for example, the news outlet in TV is not there to have a neutral, telling you everything that goes on in the world kind of job. They're also trying to have numbers and have people watch it, and you know, extreme things give extreme reactions. So I do think it's important to be in, you know, to have a certain knowledge about what's going on in the world. But I counterbalance that with just some good news on the side, you know, to have like a mixture by myself, but control that more, you know. I'm not saying this in kind of conspiracy theory ways, just saying have a social media competence, you know, social media as well, you know. Same with the source thing. Don't believe everything you see. It makes you feel bad about your body. It makes you feel bad about how much you reach in life. I'm a social media influencer, and I know how you sometimes, you know, record a video 4 to 5 times, but people think, oh, we did it first try. Maybe, you know. I know which kind of, I also go to the gym, so I know which lighting and how hard it is to gain weight, how, you know, all of these kind of things, but how I also struggle with seeing all these perfect bodies online, and I'm like, so far that I'm not even wearing shirts. I'm only wearing hoodies to kind of take this out of my content, that we do not talk about that, you know, my form or whatever. But, you know, I'm also not perfect, as I said. If I wouldn't care about all of this, I would sit here with a shirt or whatever I want to, you know. I mean, I have my own hoodies now. That's a different story. I'm very proud of them and I like to wear them every day. I wore hoodies in the past too. But, you know, just to show that controlling the intake is kind of a good thing, which kind of ties into another thing I heard, the swimmer's body theory. You know, you think there's 2 sides here. You either maybe think a swimmer's body, you know, typically when I talk about it, very trained, athletic, you know, V-shaped back, swimmer. You either think, does the swimmer have the body because of swimming? Or is the swimmer swimming because of its body? And the theory kind of said that obviously you're going to see the person in Olympia swimming, having the best body, who has the genetics for it and became a world-class swimmer because of the body, obviously hard training, whatever goes in there. But it doesn't mean, oh, if I also swim, I will look the same. No, you have to find your ways for your body, right? Your diet, your sport cases that you want to do, you know, sport places, gym, football, tennis, whatever you feel like. But, you know, kind of detaching that from everybody else, because comparison is the thief of joy, you know. Also a thing that helped me a lot. And starting to look at what can you do better, the small steps, like I said before. Yeah, the rest is more like, maybe we can talk about friends here as well. The way you talk about yourself matters, you know, how people see you and treat you back. I'm not telling you should lie and create this persona you're not, but also if you talk bad on yourself, how should they may do this as well? You know? I'm not saying that you have to be like, oh, I'm the best in the world, cha-ching, but like when you get more mindful of when you are talking down on yourself and maybe just frame it differently. You could say, like, you know, you do something and you're like, I suck at this, I will never be great at this. And then your friends will be like, no, you're going to be great. And all of a sudden, you know, friends are also there for that. And if you struggle, obviously they shall help you out. But if you'd be like, you can reframe it and be like, guys, I really want to learn this. And I really want to be better at this, but somehow I cannot get a hang of it. What do you think I can improve on? All of a sudden it feels like, okay, work ethic, try to improve. Can admire that, you know. And again here, I'm not saying that you have to be a certain way that other people like you, but I had this where I thought like I talked down on myself too much, and I thought everybody knows that I am over-exaggerating a bit. I mean, when I'm like, oh, I suck at this, and even though I'm like, well, maybe today I just have a bad day, but other people will maybe save that as, oh, yeah, Flynn, he sucks at tennis. And maybe I do, right? And that's totally fine, but maybe I don't and I'm just having a bad day, and then I'm just saying the way you say things matters. I have some funny ones here. I don't know why, but advice about cleaning your pan when it's hot and before you eat helped me out a lot. Because you know, when you cook and then you eat and I'm lazy and maybe I want to work something else, I want to have a little nap, and everything is still in the kitchen. And then it's super hard to clean the pan because everything is like cold and but if I just take it, if it's a little bit hot, take hot water, perfect cleaning, you know, and then I can put it away. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for me. I'm not sure if that is great for the pan. I'm not a cook. I think I like my pan a lot. I always take care of it a lot. But somehow when I heard that in a YouTube video years ago, who this person said it was the roommate of the one doing the YouTube video, this person probably never knows that this changed my way of cooking forever. Forever. And I also have an advice on how to open a banana. And I don't know why, but it stuck with me so long that also my family now thinks that this is a signature thing I do. I just thought it was a smart way because I always struggled with opening them from here, you know, like ripping them apart. You know, I just press this thing together and then I do this. This happens once every 100 times. Today it happened. What can I do? But you know, usually that works pretty great. You also have the little schmeeple here, you just put in here, and you have technically a banana. That works. I will eat this after the shoot though. I just thought it would be funny. You know, things that change my life. The secret of Flin. For the end here, I want to say, feel it all. Feel all the emotions, don't be afraid of them. Emotions are there to be felt. They're there to go through them. Don't be ashamed to cry. Don't be ashamed to be happy. Don't be ashamed to feel motivate others. Don't be ashamed to be cringe sometimes. Just feel it all. It's more fun that way. And other people's fun and you enabling it can be a big part of your fun as well. That's what I learned through D&D, letting other people shine and not taking everything for yourself all the time. Not that I did that before, but you know, in D&D it can sometimes feel like, oh, I want to have fun, I want to have cool things, I have something cool planned. But stepping back and enabling other people felt like just as much fun, if not even more. And the peak of that is like achieving something in a group where everybody had like equal participation and equal fun. That's like peak. And that is all I have written down, at least for today. Like I said, not in every way, shape or form am I saying that I'm I know life better. I do these perfectly on every execution, every time. I perfectly execute them every time. I just thought having this out here, the best advices that come to my mind often, or I'm sure there's more, but these are the ones that came to my mind pretty swiftly and that helped me out on a daily basis. I have one thing that I haven't talked about. Friends can go months without talking, but when you see each other, it's like no time passed. I have these friendships, I value them highly, and this is what friends are about for me, that I do not have to stress myself to get back to them all the time. They don't have to stress themselves to get back to me all the time. But when I see them again, and we're always somehow in contact, it's like we never left. Of course, these are long-term friendships, but you don't have to stress yourself too much on that part. So, yeah, thank you for watching. And I hope you have an amazing week. Don't go running and change your life all at once. Just take away what resonates and what you like to take away. As always, just a thought.